I'm 74 years old, and I didn't realize I was lonely until I was already 60. That sounds impossible, doesn't it? How could someone not know they're lonely for that long? But I didn't. I really didn't. I had a life. I had a career. I had routines and responsibilities and a calendar that filled up every week. I wasn't sitting in the dark wondering where everyone went. I was busy. And busy felt like enough. I worked in accounting for 38 years. Same firm, different offices. I was good at it. Reliable. People knew my name. I showed up early, stayed late when needed, never caused problems. I thought that mattered more than it did. I had colleagues. We talked by the coffee machine, complained about management, exchanged pleasantries in the hallway. I thought those were friendships. Maybe they were in a way, but they were the kind that don't survive retirement. When I left that job at 62, I got a nice card. People signed it. There was cake in the break room. And then I went home, and I never heard from most of them again. I wasn't angry about it. I understood. We were work friends. That's what we were. But I didn't have the other kind. I never married. I came close once in my early 30s. Her name was Ellen. We dated for 2 years. She wanted to get serious, talk about moving in together, maybe more. And I remember feeling hesitant, not because I didn't care about her, I did, but I was focused on a promotion at the time. I was trying to make senior accountant. It felt urgent. I told her I needed to wait just a little longer, get things settled at work first. She waited 6 months. Then she stopped waiting. I didn't chase her. I told myself it wasn't the right time, that I'd meet someone else when things calmed down. Things never calmed down. My parents died within 3 years of each other. Dad first, then mom. I was in my late 40s. I was the only child, so it fell to me to handle everything. The house, the belongings, the paperwork. I did it all alone. It took months. I remember people at work saying, "Let us know if you need anything." I never did. I didn't know what to ask for, and I didn't want to be a burden. After they were gone, I kept working. I kept my routines. I'd come home to my apartment, make dinner, watch television, go to bed. Weekends, I'd run errands, do laundry, maybe see a movie by myself. It was fine. I wasn't miserable, but I wasn't connected to anyone either. I had a sister. We talked on the phone maybe twice a year. Birthdays, Christmas, short calls. We didn't have much to say to each other. We weren't close growing up, and we never got closer. When she died 5 years ago, I flew out for the funeral. I met her husband and her kids for the first time in over a decade. They were kind to me, but I was a stranger to them. I didn't realize that's what I'd become, a stranger. There were people I could have stayed in touch with, old friends from college, a cousin I used to spend summers with, a neighbor I talked to for years before she moved. But I let those connections fade. Not on purpose, I just didn't make the effort. I assumed they'd always be there if I needed them. They weren't. By the time I turned 60, my days were very quiet. I'd retired, I had savings, I wasn't struggling, but I also wasn't seeing anyone. No one called, no one stopped by. Holidays came and went, and I spent them alone. That's when it started to register. I remember sitting in my apartment one evening, maybe a week after Christmas. I bought myself a small tree. I put it up, decorated it, took it down on my own, and I was sitting there in the silence, and I thought, I haven't spoken to another person in 4 days. Not on the phone, not in person. 4 days. And I couldn't think of anyone I could call who would be happy to hear from me. That was the moment. That's when I felt it. Not sadness exactly, more like recognition. Like I'd been walking around in a fog and it finally cleared and I could see where I actually was. I was alone, completely alone. And I had been for a very long time. I tried to fix it. I really did. I joined a community center. I started going to a senior group that met once a week. I showed up, I smiled, I participated in the activities, but I didn't know how to connect anymore. Everyone else seemed to already have their people, their friends they'd known for years. I was the new person trying to fit into something that had already been built. It didn't take. I tried volunteering. I thought maybe I'd meet people that way. And I did, sort of. But those relationships stayed surface level. We were friendly while we were there, and then we went home. I tried reaching out to old contacts. I looked people up online. I sent a few emails. Most didn't respond. A couple did, and we exchanged a few polite messages, but nothing came of it. Too much time had passed. We didn't know each other anymore. And that's when I understood you can't build a life in reverse. You can't spend 40 years not investing in people and then suddenly expect them to be there when you need them. I didn't neglect people on purpose. I really didn't. I just kept thinking I had time. I kept thinking I'd deal with relationships later, after I got the promotion, after I finished the project, after things slowed down. But things don't slow down. You just run out of time. Now, I'm 74. I live in the same apartment I've been in for 20 years. I still have my routines. I go for walks. I read. I watch television. I'm not in pain. I'm not sick. But most days, I don't speak to anyone. I have a neighbor who nods at me in the hallway. I have a cashier at the grocery store who recognizes me. I have a doctor I see twice a year. That's it. That's my life now. I'm not telling you this because I want pity. I don't. I made my choices. I know that. But I'm telling you because I didn't know. I didn't know what I was giving up. I thought I was being responsible. I thought I was doing the right thing by focusing on work, by not bothering people, by staying out of the way. I thought people would still be there later. They're not. And the loneliness I feel now isn't the kind you can fix with hobbies or activities or positive thinking. It's structural. It's baked into my life. I'm too old to build what I should have been building all along. If you're younger than I am, please hear this. The people you care about, they won't wait forever. They'll move on. They'll build lives without you if you don't show up. And one day, you'll be old and you'll realize you're alone. And it will be too late to go back and do it differently. I wish I'd known that. I wish someone had told me, not in a dramatic way, but clearly, relationships take time, and you have to give them that time while you still have it. I thought I'd have more time. I don't, and neither do you.